Years ago, something happened that still sends shivers down my spine. For privacy's sake, let's say my name is Ya. My family owns a cottage up north, a peaceful waterfront retreat surrounded by dense forest. We'd visit every summer, and during holidays like Thanksgiving, the cottage sits on a private beach, flanked by two others, one frequently occupied and the other abandoned. Rumor had it that a European family owned the abandoned one, but no one had seen them for years. Best kids, my cousins, brothers, and I would sneak into that cottage to smoke weed, avoiding our parents. It was like stepping into a time capsule from the 1970s. Dusty furniture, old wine glasses, and an eerie, untouched vibe. It was clear that other explorers had also found the place. We'd see beer bottles with modern labels, joints on the floor, and furniture mysteriously moved around. Despite the occasional signs of life, the place was always a mess, never cleaned or organized, so we figured the owners never visited. One day, while poking around, we discovered a basement door. When we opened it, we found a dark staircase leading to a dirt floor. The walls were exposed brick, and the whole space screamed creepy cellar. None of us dared go down there. We joked about serial killers or hidden bodies, but deep down, we were genuinely freaked out. Fast forward to Thanksgiving. My cousin's brother and I decided to hang out in the abandoned cottage, smoking and catching up. Naturally, the topic of the basement came up again. This time, something was different. The basement door was unlocked. That door had always been locked. My brother decided to lock it again, teasing us about always needing a guy to do the scary stuff. But just as he reached for the door, we heard a knock hollow, deliberate knock coming from the basement. We froze. My brother turned to me thinking it was a prank. But when he saw the fear on my face, he realized none of us had done it. Slowly, he stepped toward the door, but it creaked open on its own. Time to go, one of my cousins said. We bolted for the front door. I was halfway down the stairs when I turned back and saw a hand. Just a hand pulling the basement door open. There's someone in the basement. I yelled. My brother pushed me forward, shouting, "Go." We heard a low, chilling voice from behind us. "Where do you think you're going?" We ran as fast as we could, leaving everything behind: shoes, bottles, everything. When we reached our own cottage, my brother, breathless, said there was a guy down there. The police came, but the man had vanished. They told us to file a report about the abandoned property, but none of us wanted to get involved. Later, my brother went back to check the place out and found dead squirrels and baby raccoons in the living room. They weren't mangled or obviously killed. They had just died there. To this day, I wonder what really happened in that cottage. Story 2, saved by a lie. Back in my early 20s, I visited my brother and his wife in Baltimore. I wasn't familiar with the city, but I figured it would be fine as long as I stuck to the directions. Unfortunately, I turned onto the wrong street. Okay, Boulevard. It was a desolate stretch of boarded up houses and abandoned gas stations. People wandered in the street drinking from paper bags. I pulled into an old gas station to call my brother for directions. As I wrote them down, I noticed three men leaning against my car. Two on the passenger side and one by the driver's door, all staring at me. I silently started crying, grateful for my sunglasses. My brother, hearing me sniffle, asked what was wrong. I couldn't answer. The men were too close. One of them wiped a tear from my cheek and said, "Why are you crying, baby?" Nothing bad has happened yet. Without thinking, I blurted out, "I just shot my boyfriend." The cops are after me, their eyes widened. Within seconds, they scattered in different directions. I jumped into my car, locked the doors, and sped off. To this day, I have no idea what they were planning. But that lie saved my life. Story 3: The Wrong Ride. During the early days of the pandemic, I took a job filing documents at a medical office at night. One evening, I called a rideshare after my shift. Exhausted, I wandered outside. Relieved when a car pulled up. Almost immediately, Uber the driver asked. I nodded and got in too tired to double check. At first, everything seemed fine. I played on my phone to pass the time, but when my battery got low, I switched it to airplane mode and eventually dozed off. When I woke up, something fell off. We were in an unfamiliar area, dark, quiet, and definitely not near my destination. "Where are we?" I asked. The driver didn't answer right away. Instead, he glanced at me through the rearview mirror, his expression unreadable. My heart sank. I reached for my phone, but there was no signal. Panic set in. "You can drop me off here," I said, trying to sound calm. The driver didn't slow down. My mind raced, thinking of any way to escape. Just then, my phone miraculously caught a signal. I quickly called a friend and loudly said, "Yeah, I see you. I'm right around the corner." The driver immediately pulled over. "Here you go," he said, his tone suddenly friendly. I jumped out of the car and ran to a nearby convenience store, my heart pounding. I've never taken a ride without double checking the license plate since